Hello everybody, my name is Troublemaker, and it's time for a war game. So the war game today is a special one. We have on the NATO side YKKYYKKY, also known as Tomoyo, and his opponent Elukka, or Elukka, or Elukka, and he is our red pack player. So a little bit behind this match, this is the third place runoff for the War Game Cup, and the winner of this gets a Ultrabook laptop, $1,500 laptop with a touchscreen on it, and I believe like an extra $200 on the other guy, and the other guy just gets $300 or something like that. Still worth playing for, worth an hour's work, give or take. And so YKKYYKKY got here basically by doing these quirky little rushes, lots of helicopter runs, lots of Martyr VTS-1 rushes, lots of infantry rushes, and then he hit Delta, and Delta just absolutely crushed him in a very convincing manner. And so for Elukka actually got kicked out of the tournament by Komurami. Komurami was playing on the account of somebody else and got caught. And so that Komurami's friend who he's playing for got kicked out of the tournament, got eliminated. And so Elukka took his spot. Elukka faced off against FIBA55, and FIBA55 just brilliantly crushed him. Now FIBA went on to also brilliantly crush Delta and win the entire cup, so there's no shame in basically getting crushed by the top player in the world. So now we have these two people running off for the third place runoff, and yeah, there's going to be some rewards here and whatnot, and we're going to do a little bit of analysis. Now Tomoyo is what I'm going to be calling him from now on, because this name is ridiculous. Tomoyo has been doing a lot of rushes and basically showing the designers a lot of how the game is broken, what needs to be fixed about it. And judging by his group of units here, it looks like he's going to go for another rush. Now you can say by the Martyr VTS-1s that this is a Ben-Guru rush, but in fact it's not. He has these AMX-32s, these very long-range tanks, and he's got a weird grouping here. Usually you do not group your Roland 2s together. You usually want separate rocket fires. But okay. And of course he has this little power coupling. He's actually mixed in a Cobra, one Cobra instead of two Gazelles with his recon helicopter, and this will allow him to pick off any early units. And from Elukka we see that he's got his recon helicopter as well. No helicopter escorts. This is going to be entirely for either dropping very forward or circling around the back and dropping one in the back. It sounds a little bit dirty, but it's not. And this is Hell's Highway. This is a slightly imbalanced map. When you're practicing it, you have to practice it like as if you're doing this or this, because both actually have huge differences. For one, if you're on this side, there's this little town here, and if you place infantry in here, it becomes very expensive to remove them. So you have to actually spend extra amounts of resources just to defend this little spot here. It's a pretty big thing. That might be where this is going. Oh, he's actually, that's Tomoyo, of course. But Elukka might be trying, in fact, that's exactly what he's going for. He's going to put his recon early on right here, and this is something you have to practice for. You have to know just to get something here very quickly, because your opponent can do the exact same thing to you. Also note there's a big giant forest here. That makes crossing over to this Delta location much, much harder for this person than for this person, who has basically no real stuff in the way here. And you should note that the difference between Gulf and Delta in distance is almost the same as Charlie and Delta, except Charlie and Delta is seemingly just a little bit longer, and it's got the forest in between, so it's a huge weakness. And so here comes a rush from Elukka. We're going to try and rush forward and grab these 4-point bases, which is, once again, much, much harder for Elukka to take. Much easier for Tomoyo to take in this situation. And so we're going to see a blob rush, and this is basically when you have two giant armies face off against each other, and it all comes down to who has better micro. Now, a lot of people really dispelled the idea of micro in this game, but there's absolutely micro. And the idea here would be that you got to pull back your weakened units, get your infantry deployed properly. You can see right here, Tomoyo is actually going to deploy his infantry on this echo base, trying to intercept a lot of these forces, all the while his Weisel MK-20 is going to lead the charge, Martyr 1s as well as your backup tanky units, and then your Martyr VTS-1s and your AMX-32s for the tanky damage unit. All the while, the Jalos will be trying to pick off some of these infantry carriers, but it doesn't look like he actually has enough tank destroyers on the field. In fact, not enough units, period, He's actually in a lot of trouble. This rush could actually do a lot more damage than anyone could have possibly expected, as streamlining units is Tomoyo just crushing. Grenzer squad is down. That is a hard loss to take, already massively behind. And Tomoyo has got a huge lead. And the beauty of this map and rushing is that if you rush ahead and grab these 4-point bases, you almost always win. It's very, very hard to come back after this. And so we're seeing infantry being microed individually from this group of tanks, just trying to push ahead. We're going to drop, what? A Legion. The Legion Française. The French Foreign Legion. Jalas are slowly just trying to kite away, do whatever damage they can, but they don't really have much hope for surviving. The AMX-32s are already within range of the Shallows, and there's some T-64As here. These are one of the critical units that's needed for this. You could actually run out of ammunition with the number of units here from Tomoyo. And here comes the infantry, just continues to chase down. The T-64A is getting pulled back, doesn't want to get swamped by his infantry, and the infantry are largely getting crushed by Elukka, who's now taking a pretty massive lead. This rush from Tomoyo looks like it might have a high chance of failing now. He's got to get some critical shots off on some of these critical vehicles. T-64As are the most important. And I just burped in my mouth. If he can get rid of the T-64As, he'll have a huge win. Commander from Elukka will get pulled back from the Bravo location. Going to full on retreat all the way to Alpha, and it might be possible that Tomoyo is overextending himself a little bit here. He's going to move up. He's taking this Bravo location, which means that this Charlie base here is very isolated. Here comes 3 infantry from Tomoyo. Practices build quite a bit, I see. He's got a lot of deployments planned out here. Now, there is a big blob effect here, and he does need to spread these units out quite a bit in order to avoid the possibility of rocket fire, which, of course, it's not on the map right now. But we have some transport helicopters here from Elukka, trying to do a little bit of damage, trying to survive, trying to basically trade as cost-effectively as possible. One of the nice things about these units is that they do high burst damage, and on top of that, they don't cost a ton of supply and ammunition. So you can do some fairly cost-effective trades. There is a Mott shoots in here, but it shouldn't be here for too much longer, as these Weisel MK20 should be able to just kill it, but maybe. Yes, I don't think Tomoyo actually sees this infantry in this town here. And here we go. And there's some Legion deployed here. Actually, commander armor being pulled back wisely and quickly by Elukka. But Elukka's in a really bad situation right now. Really, really bad situation. He actually has no bases. And Tomoyo has his Foxtrot. And that's it, actually. It's an all-in for Tomoyo. Now, Tomoyo can, once again, move up to this Bravo base. Take that over, but I just don't see it happening. It's a little bit risky, especially with these VPZU squads here, which are on the foot, walking across the map, trying to get over to this location here to try and do some blocks, some reinforcement blocks. I don't know how effective that will be. And here we go. Tomoyo has position. He has the income advantage. He has the points advantage. He has every advantage needed, and really it's his game to lose right now. He's going to continue pushing. His Weasels are all out of fuel. He needs to get a supply truck like this Kolos over to resupply them. And actually, there is a couple of them already here. Some HEMTTs, what I like to call the HEMT. And these Rolands are just not getting used effectively to deal with any of these air units. I don't believe they fired off. They've got 2 shots off so far. And Elukka just continues rallying them in. He's got to split up these Rolands. Has to get them firing in different possible directions. That could be a problem. It looks like he knows about this. Yes, he does. Will he be able to get the Roland in range? It's a huge question. And here he goes. He's firing off. He might be able to get the recon helicopter as well. Here comes some splash damage. 40-point damage right off the bat. And there's a boom. Big 85. He just right-clicked on that helicopter and just sniped it. Now that he's completely resupplied, he's going to continue his push. He's going in for blood. Blood and oil. And this is something that Elukka would have had to plan for, would have had to expect. An all-in from Tomoyo should not be all that uncommon. This is a very potent, powerful map for all-inning. And this guy's been all-inning the entire tournament. He should have been prepared for this. This build specifically, probably not. It looks like he was more prepared for infantry than he was for tanks. But here comes the tanks, trying to peel into the forest. Not exactly the best place to put these units. And he's going to run right through some Mott shoots and possibly some more of these Weisel MK20s, which are once again running out of fuel. Their biggest weakness is their small fuel tanks. And there's actually some rocket fire going off from Elukka. Has these helicopters spread out very nicely to try and mitigate the damage that would be caused from Roland 2s which are completely out of position right now and routed. So this army is, although doing a lot of damage, it's not going to be able to effectively deal with these helicopters. The Martyr ones are targeting down helicopters as they can, getting the kills where they can. And now we see a rush through the woods. The FOB has been captured by Tomoyo. He's going to be able to resupply all these units with fuel and arms just by hitting the stop button. And Elukka is just rallying in infantry. He's actually panicking. He's frightened. He's scared, and he's a beast. All the while, we see this VPZU going to crawl through the woods here and try and get into this Foxtrot location. And this has a small chance of success. He can actually wipe out a command with an infantry, but there's a lot of units defending there, so it's a little bit of luck based. Basically, he has to get into a position where he can snag it real good and then get a win. Using more of these VPZU squads. VPZU, of course, is my token recon. I use them all. I love VPZUs. They're like your awesome CV snipers. And all the while, it looks as though Elukka is finally going to get kicked from the tournament. It's not a bad time to get kicked from the tournament. This is the finals. You know, he's the 4th place. He's the 4th best player in the world, officially. All the jerks can say that, you know, clearly such and such a person is not the best player in the world, blah, blah, blah. But here we are. Tomoyo is number 3 in the world. Not bad. He's going to be in beta working with the best players in the world, the top 66, and he will be honing up these skills. Maybe we'll get to see some nice little Wargame airland battle rushes, because right now they're basically designing the game around not being able to rush, which is kind of funny and weird. And every time they do that, basically somebody, usually Bent Guru, shows them like, hey, actually it's even easier to rush now. Thank you guys very much. You made rushing so much easier. I'm just going to bring the unit that you buffed. This is kind of a sketchy situation, specifically because Tomoyo's plan has involved only 1 command armor. And yes, he is at a huge advantage right now, but it's too easy for him to just throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Rotated Martyr VTS1, all because of these Mott shoots. And here comes some Martyr 1s trying to chase down anything it can. And actually taking terrible, terrible losses. Here comes the Gazelle to try and spot these Mott shoots. And I have to sneeze. And here it comes. Oh god. It's a chain sneeze. Okay, that was 2 sneezes of chain sneezing. Okay. I think I'm done sneezing. Oh, that was a crazy sneeze. Hurt my nostrils. Oh my god, here comes the VPZU. Placing itself in the town. Not really going to go for a kill. It's just going to creep in. This is how you use these. This is basically like your Dota of Wargame European Escalation. You just creep along these recon units and hope of sniping. And here comes a Raritan. Able to spot, and he actually gets one of the Raritans down. And the Raritan has to pull back. Automatically, of course, nothing Tomoyo is controlling here. I'm pretty sure he's not even aware this is happening right now. And actually we see Elukka is preparing himself to actually wipe out the command armor. He can actually win the game right here. This is kind of a weird way to end the cup. And note, we see a pullback here from Tomoyo. As more of his units are going to move forward, as he's finally paying attention, he's going to drop these infantry right on top of this VPZU unit. And pretty much this should be the game ender. I see no reason for this to continue on. Fusiliers are getting wiped out hand and fist by this VPZU squad. Here comes 3 infantry units. He's got to get his units moving forward, especially these Raritan support units. They should be able to help quite a bit. And this should kill off the VPZU squad. It's running out of ammunition. That potent RPG. And he's actually going to pull it back. Nope, he's moving it forward again. Trying to juke and jive with the Fusilia squad. And now they're awkwardly posturing with each other. I think I just saw him do push-ups. As the Fusiliers are going to run into an ambush. And they die. Well, that was exciting. So we can see now that Tomoyo has a nice little position around Alpha. Just moving up his units in position. He has a roll into it that seems to be overextending himself. The Shallows are going to try and clean it up by just moving in and picking them off. And yes, immediately Tomoyo pulling them back. They're both very injured, so helicopters could become an option again. And he's been sneaking around this Martyr VTS-1 around the back, wanting to get some of these command kills. And he sees the command number in sight. It's just a matter of moving up and going for the kill. This has been quite the troublesome little VPZU squad, I'll tell you that much. It is completely routed right now, but it's still alive. It is a 1-point veteran VPZU squad that is taking one hell of a hit. And has done a lot of damage and has most definitely paid for itself. And I think Elukka is trying to survive as a tactic. Basically, if he wins more battles like this, he's still in the game. I mean, there's 27 minutes left in the game, so I think he thinks he's not as far behind as he is. And so here comes the Martyr VTS-1 squad. Ooh, gets caught by infantry. That's not good. Command numbers are immediately moved. And yeah, both command numbers actually get moved. He's losing this point for a second. And here comes the remainder of the army for Tomoyo. Going to move in, try and get this kill now. Realizing that he's pushed the command numbers into this boxed-in location here. And just keep in mind what happened here. Martyr VTS-1 comes in from the back to try and do a snipe. Infantry reinforce. He witnesses Elukka move his command number into here. So this means that his command number actually has nowhere to run. He has this area. If he moves this way, this kills it. If he moves this way, there are legion and helicopters to deal with it. So he's got nowhere to run. This is going to be a kill. This is execution. And one of the Jalos goes down. And here comes the command numbers trying to move this way. And so this is when the helicopters should be moving up with the recon. Come on, Tomoyo. This is your cue. And go in for the kill. Because he knows where they are. He's forced me to this position. There's only so far you can go with this. Without just losing this base. And at that point, it basically becomes very bad-mannered. And I know, like, manners don't really get enforced in this game. People don't look at this and say, like, man, this is really bad manners. Like, usually there's a good way and a bad way to tap out, and this is what I think of as a very bad way. Now, but keep in mind, I'm pretty sure Elukka doesn't realize how far behind he is. I'm pretty sure he thinks that he can just come back by killing off tanks with infantry, but it's just not going to happen. Here comes the helicopters. He needs the recon, though. This recon here needs to join in, because the helicopters, sometimes they have a funny little bug where they'll spot and they don't shoot, and that's it right there. They can spot and not shoot. It's a weird little bug, and here it is, spotting, not shooting, because these guys have minimum and maximum ranges, which is a weird concept, I know. And so usually, to deal with this, a lot of times what you have to do is split them up and have one guy in range to spot and one guy in range to shoot. I know there's two command numbers here. The command number is going to try and rally around this side. Keep in mind the Martyr VTS-1 is gone from here now, so his escape path is now through here. And Motschutzen's going to get down both gazelles, looks like. A little more greediness, overextension by Tomoyo. Too quick to want to kill this. And hey, who wouldn't? He's 500 points ahead, and looks like we're going to see some bad manners from Elukka. Just going to let this pan out. We'll just spend some time singing the song, the bad-mannered song. If you're in a multiplayer game and you want to end it, but you want to get your experience so you level up. This is actually a weird common concern. I mean, after level 20, you stop getting units. The best thing to do is throw your command number at the enemy. Because if you keep doing this, eventually you're going to run out of fuel, and the inevitable will happen anyway. Which is this, being slaughtered by a VAB with 4 hit points left. Chasseurs Famos quickly pursuing with some gazelles. My name has been Troublemaker. This is the final match of the Wargame Cup. With 2 players who are in the beta. Should be starting relatively soon. I hope to hear news from that soon. And, yeah. Not entirely unexpected. Tomoyo rushing. Elukka was caught off guard. It was going to be one or the other. Elukka was going to crush him or get caught off guard. 50-50. My name is Troublemaker. I have one more match for the day, and that will cover Wargame Friday. Thank you guys for watching. See you in a bit.